Film. Film is special. Film is something that I think should always be appreciated, and it's really hard to copy. From the grain, the highlight roll off, skin tone rendering, mids, lows, you name it, it's different. And I love it. I promise you, everybody can tell, at least in this space, when it's not really film. Or so I thought. Bruh, technology is getting crazy. Like, it used to be easy to tell, like really easy, but I think Dehancer kind of like flipped the script, and it's cool. I've always known about film emulation software, but it's kind of been slightly unattainable to me, especially starting off as a freelancer, then moving on to finally having like my own hub in like the Charlotte, Lake Norman area. I'm still growing, so I try to like do my finances carefully. I've wanted film emulation software. I think it's really cool. The problem is on like my level, you know, I'm a freelance filmmaker. I also am a full-time creative director for a company in Charlotte. You know, I'm not a big dog. You know, I can't just drop that. That ain't me, you know? So it's really cool to see something like Dehancer be at a very affordable price range for a lot of people. So the clips you saw are all digital. They come from a Sony FX3, this camera I'm filming on right now. And it's filmed on multiple lenses. You got the Sigma 24-70, the SLR Magic 21mm, and then the Pentax M 50mm. Now, I wanted to do different lenses because I really wanted to see the different characteristics that could pop out as I film. And putting it in post, dude, like, Dehancer's cool, bro. Dehancer's really cool. It has its quirks though, and I'm gonna get into that, but let's talk about the good. The specific version of Dehancer I'm using is actually called Dehancer Pro, and it has 63 different film profiles. You can mess around and play with 8, 16, 35, and 65mm film. You got a film developer, you got film compression, you got Kodak and Fuji, you got Ilford, dude, the list goes on. It is crazy, like it's literally crazy. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've just sat for like an hour straight on like one clip just because like the list is like this long of stuff that you can do. It's really cool, but it can be really daunting at first, especially when you're looking at everything and you see that everything has a purpose and everything can be turned off, it can be turned on, it can be tweaked, it can be maxed, it can be lowered. It's cool, bro. Like, it's really cool. You got stuff like film grain, obviously, halation, bloom, gate weave, overscan, damage, vignette. Bro, it even has a LUT generator. Like, you can generate a LUT. Bro, I've been wanting this, and it is so cool to actually get my hands on it and use it and actually know that I have the power in these little fingers right here to do the damn thing. Let me stop rambling. Let's head over to my computer and let's see what we're working with. All right, so before you even start dibbling and dabbling and getting creative, you gotta make sure your GPU is set up correctly. You want this thing to run as smoothly as possible because, like I said, it's massive. If you're on Windows, you need to have Mercury Playback Engine Acceleration on OpenCL. And if you're on Mac, you need to have it on Metal. So in Premiere, you wanna make sure that your working color space is set to Rec 709, and you wanna make sure that you have your maximum bit depth and maximum render quality selected. All right, so now that we got that squared away, I have 2 clips. Well, technically it's 3, but 2 little clips, all right, that we're gonna look at, and we're gonna see how exactly I went through that whole process. All right, so once you get all that situated, you wanna hop over into your effects panel, type in Dehancer, and then you're gonna add Dehancer to a adjustment layer. You'll come in and you'll see something that says source. I just click choose camera because it made the most sense to me. Then you go to all of these cameras that they have in here, and they update them literally daily. I'm still getting emails of them updating these things. I just clicked on Sony FX3, S-Log3, S-Gamut Cine. So once you get all that squared away, dude, you have all of this to play with. You have temperature, tint, defringe, and defringe radius just to initially fix anything that's kind of weird. Then you hop into film. Right now I'm using Kodak Vision 3500T. That's like one of my favorite films. There's a lot of cool film shot on that, and I think it's honestly, it might be the staple, but don't beat me up in the comments. So I pushed it to 1.5, and I'll show you just how that really can affect it. So if I'm all the way down at pulling it back to 2, you come up slow, you see how it starts to get warmer. It starts to really react how like film would react. I like the warmer side of things anyway, so I thought 1.5 was kind of the sweet spot. 2 is not really that different, but to my eye, 1.5 was. All right, so then you have your film developer. You can do things like boost your contrast, you can correct gamma, color separation, check the contrast boost out, how you can really dial everything in and make it exactly how you want it to be. I really like this. Like when I say that you can mess with any and everything related to this film, it's really cool. You get things like film compression where you can affect the white point and the impact. You get your tonal range, your color density. You come down even more, you got the color head, the film grain. This is where I kind of like felt comfortable at, but I was a little bit taken aback at how strong some of the film grain was, or at least going from something that doesn't have anything but maybe some ISO noise to grain that's artificial. So it felt at first that it didn't look right until I like started pixel peeping. Like I went back and watched Django, one of my favorite movies. And I know it's shot on 35mm. So I just had to like peep it. And I was like, well, in all reality, side by side, it's pretty close. Right now I got it set up on 35mm ISO 50. And I feel like those lower ISOs obviously tend to have less of a huge effect, and I think that really plays a part here in Dehancer. You can play around with them all you want. It goes from 8mm all the way up to 65, with 65 being like really fine, really nice grain. 35 is kind of the sweet spot if you really want that film look. Then you got halation. I'm not using halation on this clip, but I'll definitely show you how it affects her. If I can just squeeze over here. So if you see right here on her skin how it's basically blown out thanks to the house lights, I'm gonna go ahead and turn on halation. And now you can see by going by 200 real quick, how you get that red fringing around her. She also starts to glow a little bit more. If I take it over to like something like this part of the clip, let's take it off, let's turn it back on. Everything kind of just pops more. Now, if you really wanted to get into like a cool bloom effect, they have that as well. Still have it set on 35/super 35. I'll enable it on this clip right here. And now everything just gets like bloomy and dreamy, like you have a mist filter on it. But I already shoot with a mist filter, so going in and turning on bloom on top of that just felt like overkill. But if you don't have a mist filter, or you maybe have like a B cam that just didn't have one on there, I think this will do a good job of saving you. You do things like film damage, film breath, gate weave, overscan, vignette, false color monitoring with IRE in 16 zones. Like, it is crazy. And then you go all the way down and you have a LUT generator, like I mentioned earlier. You can do monitor LUTs, which are 33x33x33, and then you can also do the small LUTs at 17x17x17. So if you wanted to monitor, now remember, you're just monitoring. Don't think that that look is gonna be what your final look is, because it's not. This is just a baseline to see. That 33x33x33 put into like something like the Atomos Ninja V that I'm recording on will be a great baseline to look at, especially if I'm gonna take that same look, come in here and manipulate it. And I'm really gonna like play around with, especially with Taylor. I love filming Taylor. I'm gonna pull this look because I think I really wanna use it. So that's really freaking cool. So for comparison's sake, I have these clips set up, one with the Dehancer Pro on it and one with a Rec 709 conversion that has the exact same edits applied to the base clips underneath the adjustment layer. So I'll play it now and y'all tell me what y'all think. All right, so like as you look at these clips, you can definitely see where Dehancer comes into play. Like this is the same exact base edit on the shot itself, but throwing that different look slash LUT slash plugin over top of it makes a world of difference. Like, hats off to them, dude. I really appreciate what this stuff looks like, and I think it's really amazing. So let's move on to the next clip that I have for you guys. This one was shot February in Las Vegas earlier this year. I was filming at a convention and they had a nice little food spot set up, so I decided to get some burgers, and I don't know why, but I always see stories, so I decided to record this too. So same process. The film I'm using on this one is actually Fuji Eterna Vivid 500, expired 2013. Dude, super unique look. A really more grungy, in your face, boomed out look, and I really appreciate it. Like I kind of tweaked it to where I like it at. I pushed it to the limits that I felt like film, and that the tonal range was where I wanted to be at. So I play those for you two back to back. Same concept. The base layer is edited the exact same way, and the adjustment layer has one Dehancer and one Rec 709. Crazy, bro. Like, I don't get it, but I truly do love and appreciate this plugin. There's so many different aspects to how you can make your image look, how you can shape it. And I just really appreciate the level of detail that went into this. All right, y'all have heard me rave about this, but like I said, I do have a few things that are like quirks or really even dislikes that I had to like do workarounds for at first. So when you come in to put your first adjustment layer on and it's stuck on Rec 709, it's gonna look like this. It kind of has like a grayish, greenish hue to it. And you can mess with it. You can really like go back and forth with your temperature controls. You can do a lot to play with it and get it right, but it takes a lot of tweaking. So in my personal opinion, I would say, bro, forget going to Rec 709, just go straight to choose camera, scroll down to your camera and select that, and it'll make a world of difference off that. All right, so second, it can be a little strong at first. Like, probably a lot of strong, especially in your contrast and your colors. Like if you check out just like this straight, we'll go, all right. So this would have been like just straight on. I just changed it to FX3. This is what it would look like with my base edit already there. Nothing truly done to this adjustment layer other than like what you can see. Like nothing's really done, nothing's on. Nothing's enabled. So you're gonna have to really learn, yo, I need to sit here and figure it out, which you should do with everything. It's not like a plug and play. This is a true thing that you need to know what you're doing, or you need to sit there and learn what you're doing, which could be a good thing. All right, let's get into this grain, because this would probably be my biggest gripe. Like, so this is 35 millimeter ISO 250. And we can go to 50 and it should clean it up a little bit. And then you go to 500 and of course that's gonna bring more. But dude, I really feel like I wanna see 35 millimeter film at ISO 50 compared to this. I really want to see just what that pattern truly looks and feels like to the eye, because it comes on strong. And at first I was like, damn bro, like I wish they had an opacity setting, because I'll just turn it down just a little bit. It's a little bit strong. However, it still looks good. But honestly, man, other than that, which definitely, once you figure out which one you want, what I ended up doing for a lot of my clips that I'm gonna be using, because I'm gonna use the hell out of this, I ended up going to 65 at ISO 50. Now, if you go to 65 at ISO 50, that's what I thought the 35 was gonna look like. I was like, oh man, 35, like in photo, 35 can be strong. But in the films that I watch, 35 grain is not that heavy. I really truly feel like that what you see right here would be a little bit more onto par. Yeah, they're bigger particles per se, but it's a lot smoother than what you would see with this 35 at 50. And I really feel like that once you dial it in, which it doesn't take a lot of dialing in, it'll be freaking amazing. Like it has completely altered how I do things in my workflow and how I edit. Like, if it's a doc, if it is something creative, if it is something that I'm like, yeah, I can throw this on there, I'm doing it. And I've been doing it a lot. You know what's crazy? I'm doing all of this talking about the plugin. I ain't even touched on the app yet. On the video side, it's almost identical to Dehancer Pro. You have almost every single tool that you have there. Honestly, you probably do have them all, but I ain't had enough time to play with it all. On the photo side, you get almost every single popular film stock that you can think of. It's there. You can tweak every single aspect of these film stocks, just how you can in Dehancer Pro. It's crazy, bro. Check out some of the pics I took, and then we'll get back to the video. You've heard my gripes, you've heard my praises, you've heard me babble, you've seen my coloring process with Dehancer Pro. If you really feel like that you want to take this journey, because it is a slight journey because of how in-depth it is, but I appreciate it being so in-depth. They do have a 2-week free trial, or if you just want to go ahead and buy it and dive head in, you can just head over to dehancer.com, check out whichever version of it that you want to get, and use the code ROBSNAP at checkout. That'll save you 10%. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. It's been a crazy 2 weeks really trying to sit down and learn this thing. And I can truthfully say that I'm thankful that I had the opportunity to play with it, because now my brain is just like, dude, I can finally have the looks that I truly want to have without going out and buying a freaking $96,000 camera, because your boy can't afford that. If you can afford it, go do it. But if you can't, bro, get the answer.